is the Kate Daly Show.
Oh, wake up to the sounds of the silence that allows for my mind to run around with my ear up to the ground. I'm searching to behold the stories that I told when my back is to the world that was smiling when I turned. Tell you.
Welcome back, Kate Daly Show. I have a caller on hold, and of course, welcome back. Big week. And a big show today. A lot to cover. And of course, if you want to call in about Hurricane Helene, the strike, Iran, pick a topic, right? Anything but the jobs report, which is asinine and ridiculous that is the top news story today. Don't even get me started. Hi, caller. Welcome to the show. Go right ahead.
Greetings. From 1990 to 94, I flew as a volunteer pilot with the Civil Air Patrol doing special missions, search and rescue, thousands of hours of watching video and training, but 500 hours flying the plane doing search and rescue. Right now, the only thing the Civil Air Patrol is doing is taking photographs. They've got crews that they could send out. There are thousands of Civil Air Patrol pilots that could go fly these grids. They could have ground crews given directions to go in, and they can locate the people that are stranded that need help, because when you don't have water for 3 days, well, you die. When you don't have food for a week or two, you die. And a lot of these people, though there was water there with no electricity, those pumps aren't working, right, and they need people to go in there on foot. And the Civil Air Patrol trains for this. Right now, the government has got them taking photographs. They got satellites that can do the same thing.
Thank you. I'm glad you called in. I'm really glad. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah. Any ham radio operator knows that if you don't have a ham radio license, it's illegal, except in an emergency.
Yeah.
Because it's a thing called necessity. God gave you common sense to know when it's a necessity.
Yeah.
It's a necessity.
It's a necessity. Thank you. Love your phone calls. Thank you so much. So appreciate that. I really do. Thank you. Hi, caller. Welcome to the show. Go right ahead.
Yes, I'd like to talk about the strike. I'd like to give the founding fathers' position on it, the constitutional laws position on it, and the freedom position on it. The freedom position, the federal president has no authority at all involved in any labor matters.
Nope.
This all a communist notion. This started in the 1830s, even before Marx came on the scene, that the laborers in America and the world are being exploited by businessmen. So we have to come in and give them special privileges. Right. Americans don't know they're paying a huge price for goods and services way beyond what they should because of special privileges given to unions. This mainly started with the National Labor Relations Act in 1935, where they started telling the employers, you have to do this, you have to do that. I'm talking about the feds. And collective bargaining was always available, but this collective bargaining laws give special privileges. They have to set aside a part of their factories for the unions to meet. They give them all sorts of laws that in their favor. In freedom, the employer and employee should meet together and contract out the labor. The services are going to be provided to each other. The government has no right in that business. And these longshoremen, I lived among them for almost 30 years, in the largest port in the world commercially. That's L.A., Long Beach. They have huge salaries. They live right along the ocean. A great number of them. They're almost all Democrats. I did precinct work for Ron Paul, and I went to their homes, and they said, "What are you doing here? We're all Democrats." And what they do, they have one of the worst laws that's come along, and states have implemented. And Van Smith, J.D. Vance's board is to abolish right of work laws. You know what right of work laws are?
Yes, I'm running out of time. Yep.
You have to join a union, and or you can't work. And he supports that.
I know. Thank you. Thanks for the call. Actually, very, very informative. Really appreciate it. There's so much to that. And when I was looking at what the West Coast did, you guys, come on, 6% is the average wage hike with unions, what the unions get for their workers, right? The workers. And 32% when the Biden administration went in there. Long laid plans. That's what the government's really good at, and is long laid plans. And There's just so much to unpack. But at the end of the day, realize that I think that was extremely manipulated. I also do think that this hurricane was manipulated. And I think that when you have an incoming storm, an incoming hurricane, you can shift it. You can shift its intensity. You can shift its direction. And I think we'll be talking to Jim Lee about that from climateviewer.com and weathermodificationhistory.com, because there's so much there to talk about. There's so much there. And I think that knowledge is key. You know, when people have the knowledge, like let's say in Hurricane Helene, when they have the knowledge to help each other, when we have the knowledge to doctor oneself and to have things ready and prepared as you can be. Now, I know that they were caught completely unaware. I get that. But still, you can be as prepared as you could possibly be. So knowing what's going down in Hurricane Helene, the big takeaway, the big lesson that we should be learning right now is not just preparedness, but what do you do when you're threatened with arrest for trying to help somebody? What do you do as a community when the community comes up against people trying to help people? What do you do? Do you have enough people in that community to stand up to that? What do we do? In every single community, I know they're all doing their drills, and they really get off on the government on doing their drills and spending umpteen dollars doing them. When do we do that? When do we say to all the pilots that live in a vicinity, live in a community, hey, are you willing to help? If something happens here, are you willing to go up? Are you ready for that? Can we count on you? What kinds of plans are we making if we get hit with what they just got hit with? What's in place? What do we do? What kind of accounting system can we come up with? Can we put people in charge of figuring out what kinds of things you could do, right? Even reporting precincts, even reporting families' whereabouts, the unaccounted for right now, that death toll is going to go up. So I think right now, what a great time to be able to go, okay, let's lay this out. What are the people going to do? Not just what is the government going to do for us? And I'm glad they're doing their drills so they're nice and ready. No, what are the people doing? Government's not going to be there. What are we doing? What do we have ready? Do we have modes of communication? Are we able to talk to each other? Wouldn't it be good right now to be able to create a whole community of people that can communicate no matter what happens? This is the only way you beat what they do, right? Is to get together and form institutions and systems and things that we're going to do so that we're not left during a crisis to try to do it. Let's get ready right now, right? In every community, start a Facebook pilot page, helicopter pilot, start all kinds of pages so that every community has this going on right now. Be right back. Kate Daly Show with Chris Burgard. Be right back.
Attention homeowners. Has your heating and AC system struggled and you...